Hello and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And welcome everyone to yet another Grammar Station unit, where over the next couple of days we will be reading two fun dialogues. And we'll also be learning a few common and useful grammar patterns that will help you guys to improve your English.
Now, tomorrow in part B of the unit, the dialogue will be about something that often stresses people out, which is shopping for a friend. Ooh, I know that sometimes I don't really like doing this, especially if I don't know that person very well.
Yeah, me too. You know, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You want to buy your friend the perfect gift, but everything you see in the stores or online, it just doesn't look quite right. It might be kind of boring or too expensive.
Yeah, and even if it's perfect, you know what? They might have it already.
Exactly. So maybe, along with the grammar tips, we'll also be getting some suggestions for good gifts to buy in that dialogue.
But for today, our dialogue is all about having different memories from other people.
Yeah, have you ever had that situation when you're looking back on something that happened in the past? Maybe you were talking to someone who was there at the time. You experienced the same event. Maybe you were in class together when something happened, or maybe you're remembering a holiday you both went on, or something like that.
Oh yeah, and then as you're talking about it, suddenly the person's like, no, that didn't happen. You're like, what? Huh? Was it my memory that was wrong, or was it their memory that was wrong? Or are we even talking about the same memory?
Or maybe your memories of the same event are also very different, or even the opposite of each other. It's strange what our experience is, and sometimes what other things can happen to our memory to make them so different from someone who was also there at the same time.
Right, so there are two characters from our dialogue. Hugo and Diana are going to be looking back and comparing their memories of an event from a few months ago. So we know they'll probably have something different to say, right? That should be interesting.
Before we begin the dialogue, though, we need to remember to check out our new vocabulary for today. We can't forget about that, so let's go and do that now.
今天的 Grammar Station 文章叫做 A Fun Night， 非常棒的个夜晚。不知道同学们对愉快的夜晚的定义是什么呢？我们一起来看几个单字。第一个是 terrific， 非常棒的，极好的，是个形容词。The party was terrific. You did a great job. The party was terrific. You did a great job. 这个派对太棒了，你办得非常好。第二个单字 clean， 干净的，是个形容词。Take off your shoes so you don't get the clean floor dirty. Take off your shoes so you don't get the clean floor dirty. 把鞋子脱掉，这样地板才不会弄脏。第三个单字 crowd， 群众、人群，是个名词。There's a way to stand out from the crowd. There's a way to stand out from the crowd. 有个方法能让你从人群中脱颖而出。最后一个单字 emotion， 激动的情绪，是个名词。This song makes me feel so much emotion. This song makes me feel so much emotion. 这首歌真的令我好激动，我都要哭了。好了，我们现在看完单字例句，一起来看课文。
Part A, A Fun Night. Hugo and Diana are looking back on a fun night.
Last New Year's Eve was terrific, wasn't it?
It sure was. I can still smell the air from that night. It was so clean and fresh.
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, that's what you remember as well, isn't it?
Explanation 1.
Okay, so we can see that the first dialogue of our Grammar Station unit for this month has the title A Fun Night. Now, these two friends had a really fun and enjoyable night together. That's good.
Right, and we also learned that this fun night happened a little while ago because the sentence says, Hugo and Diana are looking back on a fun night. So we have the names of these two main characters, and we can see that this sentence contains our very first grammar point.
And since this is the Grammar Station unit, and we are here to learn some grammar, now would be a good time to head over to Daphne for the first grammar break of the day.
大家好，我是 Daphne。今天的第一则文法是 look back on something， 意思是回顾、回忆某事。Look 是不及物动词，意思是看。Back 是副词，意思是往后。因此 look back 就是回顾，后方用介系词 on 引出回顾的事情。我们来看个例句 ：Leonard likes to look back on his school days. Leonard 喜欢回顾求学生涯。
So, Hugo and Diana, the two characters in our dialogue, had a fun time one night a little while ago, and now they're looking back on it and comparing their memories.
Yes, and so Diana begins the dialogue by saying to her friend Hugo, last New Year's Eve was terrific, wasn't it? Aha, so she is remembering back to New Year's Eve, which of course was about 6 months ago. It's probably still a very fresh memory for her, but it's also just long enough ago that maybe her memories of it aren't as strong or as clear as they would be if it was just a few days or a few weeks ago.
Excellent point, but she does remember that New Year's Eve was terrific, really good, and apparently so does Hugo, because he answers her question by saying, it sure was. He agrees. New Year's Eve was terrific. He had a great time too. And we will definitely be having a great time soon because we need to go to Daphne for our second grammar point of the day. Yay, grammar.
第二则文法是 It sure is， 意思是当然是如此，用来附和对方说的话。其中 it 代指对方提到的事情 ，sure 是副词。意思是当然的确，使用的时候要摆在 be 动词的前方，加强语气。例如朋友说 The car is cool， 这部车好酷。如果你也认同，就可以回答 It sure is， 真的。
So Hugo was just agreeing with his friend Diana. New Year's Eve was terrific.
Terrific.
It might have been 6 months ago, but it seems that Hugo still has some strong memories from that special night they spent together. He continues by saying to Diana, I can still smell the air from that night.
What?
It's like he's almost there again. And he adds, it was so clean and fresh. Lovely.
Clean and fresh.
Yeah, you remember?
So at this point, Diana suddenly pauses and she seems a bit surprised by what Hugo just said. She asks him, You're kidding, aren't you? She thinks he's making a joke. The air was clean and fresh? Well, it sounds like that's not how she remembers it.
But Hugo clearly does remember it that way. He says, No, he's not kidding. The air was clean and fresh. Why is Diana so surprised to hear him say that? And as we reach our break, he asks her, That's what you remember as well, isn't it? Oh dear, I'm afraid that isn't what Diana remembers at all. We'll find out after we get back from our break.
Not at all. We were in the middle of a huge crowd, and I remember smelling all the people there.
Anyway, there was also a lot of energy and emotion around us, wasn't there?
Yeah, everybody was excited for the new year to begin.
What a fun night.
Explanation 2.
So, Diana and Hugo, two friends, were just sharing their memories of the great New Year's Eve they spent together about 6 months ago.
Yeah, so they both agreed that it was a terrific night and they both had lots of fun. But when they actually started to talk about the things that happened, it turns out that they have very different memories.
Hugo said that he can't forget how clean and fresh the air was that night. But Diana didn't remember that at all. As we reached the break, Hugo was really surprised she didn't. And he just asked her if she remembered that too. You know, the fresh air.
Okay, so as we get back to the dialogue, we see that Diana's answer is no, not at all. She has no memory of this clean and fresh air that Hugo was talking about. In fact, her memory was very different, probably opposite. She tells Hugo, we were in the middle of a huge crowd and I remember smelling all the people there. Ew. Okay, so the air around Diana that night was definitely not clean and fresh. It was full of smelly people. So that's probably the opposite, dirty and stinky, because all these people probably needed to take a shower.
Yeah, sounds like it was kind of
Ew.
nasty, but at least that's the way that Diana remembers it. Hugo had a very different memory. Interesting. We need to pause here one last time for our final grammar point, but we'll be back in just a second.
第三则文法是 in the middle of 加名词，意思是在点点点中央。middle 是名词，意思是中间、中央。我们来看个例句 ：Lorraine put the notebook in the middle of the desk. Lorraine 把笔记本摆在书桌正中央。
我们刚才读到 Diana 记得去年跨年的时候被一大群人围绕，所以味道不是很好闻。她的记忆跟 Hugo 是 opposite 相反。还有几个补充单字 huge 庞大的 surround 围绕环绕着 nasty 糟糕难受的。So Diana remembers the smelly crowd of people that they were standing in.
But Hugo remembers the fresh and clean air from last New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's two very different memories of New Year's Eve 6 months ago.
Right, and they were both there together at the same time.
Weird.
Very strange. And so Hugo continues by sharing another memory from that night. Moving the conversation along, he says, anyway, there was a lot of energy and emotion around us, wasn't there? Yeah, well, sure, it was New Year's Eve after all, right? You would expect that.
Yeah, that should be very obvious. And if Diana had a different memory of that, then I would be surprised. But here at least it seems that she does have this same memory as Hugo. She tells him, yeah, everybody was excited for the new year to begin. Okay, good. So at least they shared one memory that night.
Yeah, I'm glad they did. And I bet Diana will also agree with what Hugo says as he wraps up the dialogue. What a fun night. It sounds like they had a really good time. And that was a fun dialogue. It can actually be really interesting and sometimes a little bit sad when our memories of things come out so different from our friends. The things that stick in our minds completely pass them by. But still, it can also be a cool and eye-opening and interesting way to bring a new point of view on an event from the past.
Yeah, and of course you can always go out with your friends again, and so you can make new memories together and remember them all together again.
Yeah, memories which you then won't agree on in the future.
Yeah.
Ah, well, have fun everyone, be well, and we'll see you tomorrow for another dialogue. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Part A, A Fun Night. Hugo and Diana are looking back on a fun night.
Last New Year's Eve was terrific, wasn't it?
It sure was. I can still smell the air from that night. It was so clean and fresh.
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, that's what you remember as well, isn't it?
Not at all. We were in the middle of a huge crowd, and I remember smelling all the people there.
Anyway, there was also a lot of energy and emotion around us, wasn't there?
Yeah, everybody was excited for the new year to begin.
What a fun night.
Auntie Agan Taro Balls is located next to Joe Fun Elementary School. Their menu only shows taro balls with kidney beans, red beans, or mung beans. Still, there is often a very long line in front of the shop. This place isn't only known for its tasty taro balls, though. Go inside to the dining area and you will see a huge glass window. When you look out, you will find beautiful mountains and ocean. Everyone that comes to Joe Fun should try chewy taro and sweet potato balls. Eating them while looking at the scenery is a wonderful experience.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 欢迎收看我们1分钟的单元。在这1分钟的时间里面，我们要复习4个单字，还会找4个例句。同学们，您都准备好了没？1分钟计时，开始。第一个单字呢，是用来形容是非常棒的、极好的、超棒的，它叫 terrific。terrific， You did a terrific job， 你做得非常棒。好，第二个单字呢，它是用来形容是干净的，那也可以有那种清洁的意思，这个是叫做 clean。Clean， 好，我们用形容词来造句哦，干净的意思。She opened the drawer and took out a clean towel。她打开抽屉，接着拿出一条干净的毛巾。第三个单字呢是名词来表达群众、人群，这个字叫做 crowd。Crowd. As the concert began, the crowd moved forward. 随着演唱会的开始，人群就往前移动了。第四个单字指情绪、情感激动的意思，它叫做 emotion。emotion， 像是 He sang the song with great emotion。他情绪激昂的唱着那一首歌。好，太好了，我们轻轻松松就在1分钟之内复习4个单字咯。同学们表现很棒诶，那记得还是要多多复习哦。我们下次见了，拜拜。
See you next time.